Ali, ali, ali-o! Ali, ali, ali-o! Dickie Bird, Darren Goff, Sir Michael Parkinson, Mick McCarthy, your boys are taking a hell of a beating this evening. George second sub, Rex Chandler in the house. Woo! What are you thinking, boys? Come on.
I think that was epic.
What a win.
That's a big win.
On the back of Peterborough, which I thought would not be surpassed this evening. Bloody hell, 3-0. I thought it'd be a draw tonight. Do you know what I mean?
I don't think anyone would have realistically expected that result tonight. I think that rubber stamps what we were all sort of like, some of us were a little afraid to admit, which is that we are just a really fucking good football team.
We have literally just swiped a team away that's won nine home games on the trot, Rich. Nine on the trot. But you called it, didn't you? You were chilled about it.
I was confident, but you could see the first 25 minutes why they've gone 9 games on the trot at home. I thought they were a tough side.
Yeah.
The ref was a shocker, but that didn't really help us.
He gave us a pen. Debatable, but he gave
debatable pen. But how many times? But how many times did Hurst get fouled before he then booked Hurst in the first 8 minutes?
He was just shocking, that ref.
Anyone
that was in Discord can see.
I started off with the Ipswich comms, but the commentary was ahead of the shots. So I already knew Longo hit the bar by the time I saw the pictures. So I had to switch over to the Barnsley comms, and thankfully they've joined us here. Here they are, look. Salt. Very salty. Every foul we did was a yellow card. Everything Millsy did was a red. Hurst should have got sent off for having fingers up nostrils.
They were trying a couple of times. Tadic wasn't even subtle about it when he was trying to win that penalty. He didn't make any effort for the ball at all. He took a great big look over his shoulder, backed into I can't remember where it was, but backed into his man and then just fell to the floor. It was Wolfenden, wasn't it? And we may get to this, but shout out to Luke Wolfenden tonight. He was just
really immense performance, wasn't it?
Absolutely. Yeah. He looked like a boy.
Did Norwood even touch the ball?
Yeah.
Norwood, man.
He was like a kid. He was trying to take his boyhood club to the championship. Like he was.
It was set up for Norwood to bugger it up for us, wasn't it? I said on Discord, the ghost of Ipswich past comes up and
Yeah, I thought he'd either get sent off or score a goal in that second half, but he was just anonymous. Even by Norwood standards, he was anonymous after.
Well, he's an Ipswich caster. Let's not forget. I mean, look, he came on the show. Fair play to him. Do you know what I mean? But he was surplus to requirements, Rich, wasn't he?
I thought he was way overrated when he was with us. When we first signed him, I thought he's going to be quality, and then he spent 90% of his time either out injured or fouling people or whatever. He hasn't changed.
No, he wouldn't have fitted into this team. Let's go to some comments because we've got loads of comments coming in. Heidi Oldfield says, just need a ticket for Saturday now. If you've got a spare ticket, give her a shout out. Ben Moore watching. How you, Ben? Evening, lads. Cole Duncan, what result? Rex Max, Barnsley can now do one. I think they're going to do all right in the playoffs then. I think they're the team. I think they're probably the team to watch,
Yeah, I said on Discord, I think that's for the first, as Rich said, the first sort of 30 minutes or so, I thought they're the best we've seen for a long time.
I think they'll do all right. Rex Max says Barnsley could do one. Peter Graham, spare a thought for those poor Barnsley fans crying in their beer tonight. Those Barnsley commentators are crying in their beer. Those fanboys. I think they was in there with red, white scars, little hats on, the gloves, Michael Stewart style Barnsley gloves.
I was listening to Tommy, to our commentary, and Tommy Miller made the greatest comment after the penalty, which was, I've taken a few penalties in my time. I prefer the corners.
Yeah. It was a different penalty from Broadhead, wasn't it? I mean, look, he had ice in his veins against Port Vale a week ago. I felt like he was going to miss it. Do you know what I mean? He almost hit it down the middle, didn't he?
That wasn't the best penalty.
What did you think? Look, what did you think going in like the first half? Look, we scored 2 goals in a minute, right? In injury time of the first half, Rich. I mean, that goal, the corner, the Broadhead header was out of nothing, really, wasn't it? It was a weird looking corner, and it's ended up in the back of the net.
Really weird defensively for him to get to a near post header and it go in at the near post under the goalie, or off the goalie or whatever. It's really weird. Yeah. And is that the first open play assist for the second from Davis this season? All the rest of his assists have been set pieces, haven't they?
Yeah, absolutely. But we've come close to the corners recently. That they've been playing that short corner, haven't they? Which normally Champion peels off in the box, and I don't know, but that was kind of like, I don't know, weird sort of passing to the near post, and Broadhead suddenly got that head in. I mean,
we've gone from scoring 2 set pieces all last season to now looking dangerous on every set piece. I know, because they've got so many variations on what they try.
In every situation, it was like the second goal was just stunning from as Route 1 football goes, if that's what you want to call it. Yeah. Everything about it was just perfect. And a completely non-Ipswich goal. Yes,
that's why we've got to sign Hurst.
Yeah, agree.
He's tailor-made for the Championship.
We could have scored after 20 seconds. I feel like this was like underplayed a little bit. I mean, like Broadhead was in a really good position, crosses the ball in. It was just behind Hurst. We could have been in front with inside a minute, I feel.
Yeah. I mean, the 2 goals for us came out. I mean, the first one came at the perfect time, but scoring 2 that quickly before half time, that was it, really, wasn't it? I mean, I wouldn't have gone so far as to say that at half time, but you'd have been pretty disappointed. Pretty disappointed if you didn't see it out after that.
Yeah.
And then their manager came out with a really weird look on his face, I thought, in the second half. He looked like he was done. He looked like he'd been crying all half time.
I think they'd thrown everything at us, knowing they needed to win both. And it was like, we're not going to win both because they're never going to score 3 past us.
It just goes to show, Rich, that when the game was postponed because Broadhead was out, Lee was out effectively, but Burns was out. But look at the effect that the Broadhead's had again this evening. The opening goal. You know,
he's just quality, isn't he? I mean, how many goals and assists is that in like 17 appearances? It's ridiculous. If we'd have managed to get him earlier.
He should have scored earlier, shouldn't he? The Broadhead ball through, similar to what we saw against Peterborough on the other flank Saturday. And Hurst was through, went out for a bleeding throw. Couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Let's get to some more comments here. What else we got here? Andy Barrell says, I said to Colin 2-0, but thought 1-1. They have exceeded expectations. Zorak says they said we'd drop points at Bolton. They said we'd drop points at Derby. They said we'd drop points at Peterborough. They said we'd drop points at Barnsley. It sounds like me, that. Andy says, this team ended Wednesday's unbeaten run and we just pissed them. Come on, you Blues. Ipswich are full of it, says Isaac. Mook Saltzman, I think that was a pen, to be honest, with slight concept from both defenders. Well, 2 defenders had a little chip at him, didn't they? At Barnsley.
Yeah. It was a tricky one. I thought it looked soft in real time, and the angle from behind the goal made it look a little bit more. Yeah. And then in slow motion made it look a little bit more like a penalty. But we've seen those waved away, I'm sure, a bit this season.
Yeah.
Blue yes, Phil, let me just address Phil, because he said it about 18 times. You did tell me, Phil.
Blue Heaven says, fantastic result again. The fat lady is not singing yet, but she's warming up. I feel like we've just landed on holiday and you get into the airport transfer to the Championship. We're just sticking our luggage in the coach.
We've still got plenty of work to do, Matt.
It's just how many stops it's going to take before it gets to our hotel on Saturday, isn't it?
Yeah. So I'm always the last one. Lee Anderson says, is there a link tonight? Lee, there's not a link tonight. We've just got the gents here with us. There will be tomorrow. So Martin will be home. Martin got to Barnsley, by the way, everybody.
Yes, well done, Martin.
He was going.
Did Crunch drag him? Did Crunch just turn up at his house and pull him out of the door?
Someone had a ticket available and he left about 2:00 this afternoon. He got a ticket. I'm sure he's absolutely buzzing. So I'm sorry you can't get on this evening. You will be able to get on tomorrow with mine. It'll be fantastic. Ozil says, George, have you been running your hands through your hair?
Oh, no, I was literally like this the entire game.
Yeah, I don't blame you. I was like that on the pen against Paul Vale last week. Chris Boyd says, we got the balance of decisions from a ref shock and never a pen, and Hurst should have had a red. All right, Chris, calm down. Barnsley Boyd. Mike Baker says, I said they wasn't going to out football the best footballing team in the league. They had a good go, though, didn't they? To be fair.
I think they're going to win the playoffs. Yeah. I think they're the strongest team.
Yeah, I think they beat Sheffield based on Sheffield's what I've heard of Sheffield's current quality. I
was going to say that Chaplin had a really quiet game, but still scores. What a finish that was, wasn't it? The little chip over the keeper.
He's just outstanding, isn't he?
Gets his old team, of course.
Yeah, he wanted
really
that.
For him.
He was. Did you hear? I don't know if you probably heard this. If he was still on the Ipswich comms, he was on the Barnsley comms. Like I said, I was switching between the two. Chaplin's the last person to score a hat trick for Barnsley. They said.
It's only his other career hat trick. He scored 2 hat tricks in his career. One was for Barnsley, and then one's this season for us.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, Barnsley Oakham against QPR. They said.
Yeah.
Zorak says Wolfie with the skills at 86 minutes, and his pockets are full with Johnson, Clark, Harrison, Norwood. He has been immense, hasn't he, Richard George, in the last.
I've had my moments when I think he gets a bit calm and a bit over complacent and looks like he's got an error, but the last 5 months, he just hasn't. And how him, Morsey haven't got in the League One Team of the Year is just beyond me. I just don't understand.
Record clean sheets, the most goals, 90 plus points. Yeah, I know what you mean. EJ Norrie says Norwood who? Louis Fenter said to go there against a team who had won their last 9 games. Yeah, I mean that's a hell of a record. I mean, we've been on a great run.
You can't. That's a really good point. You can't forget the record that they had going into that game. It's just
Again, it looked like Championship against League One. Like Rich, you keep saying on Discord, don't you? We look like a top half Championship, a top 6 Championship team. They're the kind of performances. If this was a cup game, they're the kind of performances you'd expect to see from a Championship side against going to Barnsley, wouldn't you?
Football looks like Championship football. Sorry, Rich.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
You watch Luton, you watch Sunderland. We're playing better football than they do, and I know it's better opposition, but it's horses for courses, isn't it? We're playing better football.
I watched Luton Middlesbrough last night at Kenilworth Road, and Luton have got the 4th worst budget in the Championship. They're 3rd in the table. I don't know. They didn't seem great shakes to me. Vince Bird says Hurst, Broadhead, and Clark changed the direction of the season. Agreed. Oladapo made a great impact from the bench. We were class above tonight. Martin's got this theory that after the Bristol Rovers game, he got on the phone to either Ralph Rangnick, Mourinho, or Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and said, "What do I need to do to change this up?" Because this was not the performances we were seeing against Bristol Rovers, Cambridge, Oxford, was it, Rick? Nowhere near, was it?
It's the attacking with more pace and more variation, because we went through a period, even if we did pass it quickly, it was always pass. Whereas now we'll go pass, quick ball, pass, long ball, whatever we need to do to beat the opposition. And it's just, he's a coach learning his trade, isn't he? I know he's been a coach for a long time, but he's not been the man. And now he's the man, and he has been for a year and a bit. That's it.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd love to know. Look, the East Anglian Daily Times is going behind a paywall. £3 for 3 months, $7.99 after that. If you can find the answer to how he got that phone call in and what changed it, I'll subscribe. Let me tell you that right now. Usman says, come on, Sheffield. Chris Boyd, Saturday could be epic at FPR if we seal promotion in front of a sellout. It's looking likely, right? The probability against Exeter, nothing to play for, town with everything to play for in front of a full house, George. What are you thinking?
I'm pleased I've got a ticket. Let's put it that way.
100 points, 100 goals. That's what's coming.
Do you still think we can do that?
I think we'll get 4 on Saturday.
And then what would that leave us at Fleetwood? 3?
That'd leave us 3 at Fleetwood.
Yeah, that's the dream.
And they're safe as well. Fleetwood are safe as well, aren't they? So they're like 10th or something, aren't they?
Brown, yeah. If you've ever watched this show from the start, we did one of our early shows in the summer against Colchester. We beat 3-4-0, whatever it was. And Rich put all his merch on. And said and Mike was going, look at this man. You'll remember this, George. Look at this man. And Rich was going, 100 points, 100 goals. He was a couple of seasons ahead of the curve.
Was that when we did 9 games unbeaten under Lambert and then went to pot for the rest of the season?
yeah, it was that one,
Matt, we probably need to mention David Bergen's generosity there.
David Bergen. David is going to be there Saturday. Please come to the statue, David. We're looking forward to seeing you. €10. Thanks for that, George, for pointing that out. Thank you, David.
I think we should all just meet at the statue before the game with some crates of lager and have a bit of a party.
Dish out some cans. Yeah, I'll be on the train. Sean Fook says, Town, you made the South African fan cry with that performance tonight. Magical, boys. We've got a bit of a African following. We've had Botswana Blue at the statue this season. Now we've got Sean from South Africa. Absolutely brilliant. Mike D's birthday on Saturday. Saturday birthday is on. Fantastic. Steve Parry says comms was salty as hell. Yeah, the Barnsley comms. Love that. Barnsley fans throwing bottles. Stay classy, says Zorak. Best side we've played in a while, says Emerson Fairweather. I mean, you wouldn't want to. If you was like Sheffield Wednesday, Bolton, whoever might end up in sixth, you wouldn't want to be playing Barnsley, would you, Rich? That's my take on it. I wouldn't want to be playing them again.
I wouldn't. They look dangerous.
Lee Bayliss, we have just demolished the 2 toughest games we've had in the running. I mean, yeah, let's just take a minute. We've just played 2 games we thought were going to be really difficult. We've kept a clean sheet, George, and we've massacred both sides.
How many goals is that since we let in the 2 against Wednesday? How many goals is that? And we've only conceded 2 since. 37, is it, or something?
Yeah, something like that.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, unreal form. Unreal.
I remember just like sinking back into my seat at Pullman Road. We're 2-0 down. Smith is through. Terrible touch to make it 3-0. The ball's ballooned out. It looked like the season was over. People were booing around me. I wasn't booing, by the way, everybody. You actually expected me to. I was silent. But Rich, you didn't expect that, did you? Off that back of that Sheffield Wednesday comeback, who would have thought we would put this run together? But fair play to Kieran. It's been, super Kieran McKenna. I didn't think he could learn on the job. It wasn't for me, but he's done it, Rich. He's done it.
The thing we've got to remember as well is we've had some shocking luck at times as well. The Oxford game that I keep going back to that shouldn't have been finished is one of our 4 losses.
Yeah.
Would we have lost to them if we played them any point after when they've finally won after 17 games without a win or something tonight?
Carl Robinson's last win, wasn't it? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I still maintain he's a good manager, man. Jose says, Hurst was unreal today. Proper centre forward playing. What a goal. Steve Parry, it was an even game. I think the first goal changed it. But it's nothing like scoring 2 goals, George, in like 60 seconds.
Yeah, like I said, like that's and at that time as well, that's I mean, it was the sort of thing that happened against us, it feels like. Every season forever before now. But yeah, like to see us do that and with the quality of goals that we had as well. The keeper won't want to see that first one back, but
absolutely. Stuart Isaac says, for all those doubters, you included, Matt, I was a doubter. I'm a paying punter. I can doubt if I want. You have to have patience, and whatever happened, McKenna is here for the long haul. I hope so. Louis Fenton, Philip, they deserve after the game at Portman Road. John Warren, and why don't you get rid of Matt? You give him some. Get rid of me. Get me gone. Andy Barrell, Botswana. I'm only 300 miles away. Great night for all you who love the team. Oxford won 4-0 at last. Thought I'd just throw that in. AD Crouch. AD, we saw you. AD, we saw you on the screen at the start. I took a photo. Great to see the Gov at another away game. I don't know about you, George. The Gov has been absolutely buzzing this last week.
He's a glory hunter, isn't he? No away games for years.
Was your sister well enough to go up there tonight, or was she going Saturday?
She's going Saturday.
Great stuff. Brilliant.
It's just such a long way on a Tuesday night,
isn't
it?
I mean, the camera kept panning out to I think it was the Barry Murphy stand that we were in at Barnsley. And it was just under 5,000 there. I mean, just immense looking at away support, wasn't it, George? Immense.
Crazy. Yeah. And the thing is, that's not because we're second in the league. It's been like that all season. It's been like that for the last 2 seasons. It's just unbelievable away support. It's absolutely unbelievable.
And they keep saying about how it'll be better in the next season in the Championship. Will it? I'm not convinced. I think they're going to have to work out what they're doing ticket priority wise at the beginning of the season.
Yeah, absolutely. Even I might go to some away games, Rich. Even I might go to some London games. Being in Frank on Ipswich, Frank, it was fantastic. Frank Weston, it was fantastic to see you on the show last night with your good lady wife. Absolutely marvellous. The sun has got its hats on. Hip, hip, hooray. We've gone to Bush and Barnsley and we always win away. Frank, what a legend. I love it. Emerson Fairweather says, I love that. Hello from the Wirral, says Alistair Kirk. Great song, Frank, says Steve Parry. Owen Griffiths, I was cheering silently. My son, Alfie, was asleep next to me. I was a little bit silent on the first one, but then I think I was going absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy. Standing on here. Bald and Blue, the Three Lions, Mark Ashton and Kieran McKenna have given me my football club back. Win promotion on Saturday. You deserve it. Come on, you Blues. George, obviously you've been, I know you have family, etc., out in Phoenix. So you've been out there a few times over the last 12 months. I mean, it's fantastic for these owners, isn't it? Because they've given McKenna and Ashton everything they could wish for, haven't they?
Yeah. I was lucky enough to spend a very short amount of time at a Phoenix game with Mark Steed and Mark Detmer, and you know that you can't take anything away from their passion for what they've come on board to do, and that was never in any doubt. And you know, I don't think we've heard anything yet, but it wouldn't surprise me at all if they're all packing their bags at the moment and hurrying over for Saturday. Like, and no one could question their passion or intent for this football club.
Yes.
And as I said to Gov last night, like, I don't want to get too cocky yet, particularly where I am at the moment. But like, I look forward. I look forward to seeing this summer. I just think if all goes well over the next two games, I think this is just the beginning.
Just the beginning, yeah, absolutely. Raxmax says, don't ever forget we've had years of sheer hell. We have, man. As town supporters, lap it all up now. Rich, when we had Marcus Evans here and Lambert was here and it was boring football and we were doing shows where we'd fallen asleep halfway through the game in a 0-0 against Rochdale, could you ever envisage like 12, 18 months later we'd be in this position?
It's a hell of a turnaround.
Yeah.
I would personally like to give a bit of a shout out to Paul Cook, because if he hadn't have come in and got rid of a lot of the dross that we had playing for us then.
The Deadwood, Demolition Man.
Yeah, but he needed to do it.
He did.
And he was never going to keep his job long after Game Changer came in because he wasn't their man, whatever they may have said. But he started it, and a lot of the players that we've got playing for us now actually came because of Cook.
Because of Cook. Walton, Morsey, Chaplin, to name but three. We probably wouldn't have dropped down to this division if it not been for him. The Barnsley commentator still thought Walton was on loan from Brighton. Good research, lads. Blue Heaven, 2 more points. Even we can't fuck that up. James Warren-Helmer says, how many points have we gotten in the last 16 games? I don't know off the top of my head. Stephen Perry, odds on the owners come Saturday. Yeah, absolutely. Kev Hansen was similar to me. I doubted McKenna as well. No way I thought we'd be in this position. What a guy in Norwich to start getting worried. Norwich City, we're coming for you. Talk Norwich City. We'll see you next season. I mean, look, I didn't think this Ipswich job was learning on the job. I thought we were too big for that. And I thought maybe the job was too big for McKenna. Was that a rash comment from me? Perhaps. His record was worse than what Lambert and Cook's was over 15 games. He's been judged by a different yardstick, George, but it's come good, hasn't it? It's come good. Yeah. He got some friendlier fixtures, but almost certainly by a different style of playing. We've seen it tonight, haven't we?
Yeah, shout out to him for persevering with the style as well. Like, because it's not like we've adapted ourselves back to League One. We have just persevered with the McKenna style football to the point 100%. That we've just made it work for us in League One, and we were playing arguably Championship style, certainly a higher style of football that didn't really suit some of the opposition we were coming up against, and he's adapted it to work, but without throwing away his principles of football, which you can't. Yes, you can't do anything but applaud him for that. Like, absolutely immense. And shout out to him tonight. It's the first time I think I've seen him show some proper emotion after a game. Like, you can see that he believes he's starting to let himself. Just
He's going to go nuts on Saturday when we win. He will go nuts.
I'm going to cry on Saturday, by the way. If anyone is anywhere near me on Saturday, I will cry.
You do see little pockets of McKenna. That is it. You do see pockets of McKenna when he does this, doesn't he? He's going around the pitch. There's something in there. He's shackled, but he wants to.
It was a proper, like, he was like he hung back and really gave it one to the crowd before as he walked.
Absolutely.
Tonight. And I think that's the first time I've seen him that, like, he's like letting himself acknowledge that actually we're doing all right here.
It'll be interesting to see. Go on, Rich.
I was going to say, I think it's him and all of the coaches, because clearly Lee Grant is having an effect. I know he was a goalkeeper, but he's their attacking coach, and it's clearly having an effect.
Yeah. And Martin Pert, let's not forget Martin Pert, probably the happiest Norwich fan at the moment.
Yeah, and McKenna's quick to say that, isn't he? When he got his the only monthly Manager of the Month award that he's had so far, he was quick to make sure it was all of them in the photo and all of that. And then you hear other things that he's clearly got a bit of class about him, that Schumacher says that one of the first things he did was get a message from McKenna saying congratulations on winning the League One award, and that they're going to meet up and have a beer in the summer. probably to gloat that they've both got promoted.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you feel like Schumacher was manager of the year? For me, he probably was. In terms of we've had a huge budget, they haven't. They've punched above, haven't they?
I think it's difficult because don't they vote for it in like February or something?
Oh, do they?
Yeah, and Cooper's been a fantastic keeper, but he hasn't played since February.
No.
So you're giving the keeper of the season, just using him as an example.
Yeah.
When he hasn't played in 20 odd games.
Yeah.
And by that reckoning, surely Morgan Whittaker's League One Player of the Year because he was fantastic for them until January.
Yeah.
And how Bannon gets it and all the other stuff that goes on is just bonkers in that whole awards thing. But I think he probably was. I think it's all right. We can have McKenna win Championship Manager of the Year. It's fine.
Oh, yeah. Looking ahead. It'll be interesting to see how McKenna does react because Mourinho was famous for taking a step back. And obviously that's one of his big mentors. I know that when Chelsea won that first league, he said, this is for the fans. This is for the players. This is not about me. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. But yeah, drink it in, everybody. Mike Brown, Legacy Bates, credit to KM and the players. I'm happy to admit I was wrong to question McKenna. Yeah, ditto here. But at the same time, it was not looking great. It wasn't, but I didn't think he'd learn on the job. He did. It's fantastic to see. Looking ahead to them too. All good tonight, my friend. Says Frank, what's going on? Says Barrett Roper. I think we'll call it a day there, shall we? I've got through a few wines tonight, George. Not Romanian. I've had to go to the Spanish, but I might get some Romanian in at some point. But make sure you're all there for the statue on. I don't know if we're going to do a pre-match show. I'm not too certain, but we're going to be there from, I don't know, 1:30, 2 o'clock, something like that on Saturday. What a win. Everyone's buzzing. Enjoy the rest of the week, everybody. George, Rich, thanks for joining us. I'm so pleased that you've experienced tonight. Everyone who watched on iFollow, whether or not you was at Oakwell tonight, Ipswich Town, 3-0 win. We'll see you all very soon, everybody. All the best.